Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us back here at lanksports.com for the Week 7 edition of our LL League Insider High School Football Preview Show. Online sports editor Keith Schweigert here alongside me, Jeff Reinhart, online staff writer. And Jeff, I've been inspired by this week's presidential debate, so I'm going to have us jump right into the issues here. The only thing I ask that we do differently is maybe have our answers make sense and be 100% truthful. So here we go. We'll get right into the spotlight games. Two spotlight games this week, both first place showdowns in Section 1 and Section 2. We'll start with the Section 1 game first, and that is the big clash between Manheim Township and Penn Manor, both teams undefeated in section play. Jeff, this should be a good one. Your thoughts on it?
Absolutely. Homecoming night at Penn Manor, don't forget. Both teams 3-0, Comets 6-0, looking to go to 7-0. Township picking up some speed. They've won 3 in a row since the back-to-back tight losses non-league. Don't forget, they've only been outscored here by 4 points in the 2 losses. Talked to both coaches this week. Coach Mealy's big concern was, he said, we've only faced like 2 different offenses through 6 games. That's it. He said, we have not faced an offense like Township's yet. The Razorback, direct snap with a dynamic kind of a kid like Dan Wirtz back there who can take snaps, throw passes, take off in the run game. So that was Coach Mealy's concern. We have not had to prepare for a dynamic offense like this so far. But the good thing for Penn Manor, they're playing great defensively still. Number 1 in the league, only giving up, I believe, 155 yards a game, which is great, coming off a shutout. Beat McCaskey last week 23-0. They'll be tested with Township for sure. Like I said, Township's picking up some speed. The offense has been moving a lot better. Coach Melnick has pretty much kept Wirtz back there as the Razorback. He's been taking 95 to 99% of the snaps. Throwing a good ball, too. He's second in the league in passing efficiency. So this will definitely be Township's Razorback against Penn Manor's defense. I'm leaning Township. I don't know why. They're the champs. They have a title to defend. They are still the team to beat until somebody beats them. I like that a lot of their kids have been in a big game like this. I like that it's on turf. I like the way Township's offense is going. I know Penn Manor's defense is stingy. But the gut tells me this week to go with the Blue Streaks. I don't know why.
My friends, I'm going with Penn Manor.
my friends. Okay.
Yes, only because it's a close to an even game, and I think I owe Penn Manor one. I was kind of leaning their way in the Hempfield game, but I didn't want to go with them because of the Black Knights pedigree. This week, I'm just thinking Penn Manor. I like the fact that they're 6-0. They're feeling really good about themselves. This is another one of those proving ground games for them, and I think they're going to come through it okay. So I'm going Comets. And the Section 2 showdown we were discussing for our other spotlight game. Jeff, this is the one that you're going to be blogging live from. We forgot to mention I'll be blogging live from the Township Penn Manor game. But Jeff, you're going to be doing the Cocalico Elizabethtown matchup in Section 2. This one should be another good one.
Fabulous game for sure. Cocalico will bring the second-ranked offense into the game, and they're number 1 in the league in rushing, over 2,200 yards on the ground. Coming off the wacky win over Lebanon last week, 53-38. We thought it was going to be high scoring, and yeah, we were right. That's for sure. Kyle Fisher over 900 yards, averaging a tick under 13 yards at carry. He's having an unbelievable year. 207 yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half against Lebanon last week. He's terrific. E-Town slugging it out, like their game a lot. Saw them last week. They're good. I like their smash mouth play. I like their line play. 4th in the league in total offense. Rosenberry and Heisey, as mentioned, those guys get a lot of slug-it-out yards. And Mitch Weidman last week had a really good breakout game. Rushed for 100 yards, picked off 2 passes, scored 2 touchdowns for E-Town. Love the matchup. Fabulous. And do not forget, E-Town was 9-0 last year in this game, going into Week 10. Went over to Denver. Cocalico knocked them off, picked them off in Week 10, and cost E-Town an outright section title. So a little bit of revenge factor in these games. I know they're just kids, but, they didn't forget that. That's for sure. Like this game a lot. Like E-Town a lot. They've sort of been my pick here. I've seen them 3 or 4 times already this season. I just like the way E-Town's going. I think they've found a way defensively at ends of games to make plays. I'll take the Bears.
Okay.
Good game. Take the Bears.
Yeah, again, I'm going to disagree there. I'm picking Cocalico just because I really like what I've seen and heard from their offense. They can obviously put up points, as we found out last week against Lebanon, but their offense is set up in such a way that it is so heavy on the running game, that if they would want to get into a grinded out game where they had to run some clock and control the ball, they could easily do that. And Fisher is just a dynamic weapon. I mean, you cringe as a defensive coordinator when you see him get a handoff. You really don't want to kick anywhere near him on special teams because he could run it back from anywhere. So I just think he's the kind of weapon that maybe Elizabethtown hasn't run into yet. We'll see if they have an answer for him, but I'm going Cocalico on that.
Interesting. Okay.
So those are our 2 spotlight games. There's still plenty of other good ones on the docket. We'll run down all the other games in section 1, 2, and 3 for the rest of the week. Week 7, as we mentioned, as we're getting closer and closer to the postseason here. Let's just go through these rapid fire through section 1. First off, we'll go with the big matchup between Hempfield, which is coming off a, frankly, embarrassing loss to Wilson last week. They're going up against Cedar Crest. Jeff, who do you like here?
Hempfield. They'll snap back. Still like their offense, even though they've struggled the last couple of weeks. Cedar Crest, last in the league in turnover ratio, which is not a good number. Black Knights.
Yeah, I'm going Black Knights as well. They just got run off the field last week against Wilson. They have a lot of pride in that program. I think they come back strong here against Crest.
Agreed.
Second game on the Section 1 docket is Warwick going up against winless McCaskey.
Oh, boy. McCaskey's struggling. They've only scored 60 points, least in the league, and they've given it away 21 times, 21 turnovers. Not good. That's least in the league. I like Warwick had a snapback last week. Got the win late. Ryan Yon, our player of the week. Congrats. Hit the late field goal. Warwick.
Yeah, good redemption there for Jan, who, went from being the GOAT of the township loss to the hero last week. So congratulations to him. Nice to see him bounce back like that.
Great snapback to hit that.
Dark times at McCaskey. I think they're going to continue. I'm going Warwick as well. And the final game on the Section 1 docket is Wilson going up against Reading. Wilson, of course, undefeated. And from what I saw last week, by far the most powerful team all around in Section 1, going up against a struggling Reading program. I don't think I need to be a Kreskin to figure out where you're going there, but go ahead.
Wilson, they're third in the league in defense, cruising. They are absolutely flying right now. Nobody's touched them. Nobody's sniffed them. Nobody's in their area code right now. Fun backdoor rivalry, Berks County game. Should be a big crowd. Reading's last in the league in first downs, near the bottom in total offense and points scored. Bulldogs.
That's not a good formula for success against Wilson's defense. I saw them for the first time last week. I was blown away. They are a scary-looking defensive team, but also a really good offense, too. I just think they're the class of Section 1 easily, and I'm going Bulldogs in that one as well, obviously. Moving on to Section 2, we have what had been in previous decades leading up to this one, the LL League's top rivalry. We got Manheim Central going up against Conestoga Valley. Obviously, this one's lost a little bit of the luster in recent years, but Central CV, still a fun game to talk about, Jeff.
Oh, absolutely. Central won 18 in a row over a 15-year span, including playoffs. CV finally got him in 2006, a couple years back, beat him in Manheim in Week 10 and won the section, but Central has dominated this series, and Central's picking up speed. They've won 3 in a row here. Passing game has been great. Jeremy Nosp, he was 14 for 16 last week against Ephrata. Their passing game has been scary. Keep an eye on Dakota Royer, who's just having a monster year on both sides of the ball. CV, they've lost 13 in a row. Yeah, they're struggling. Since they beat Manheim Central in 2006, CV is 2-16. So I'll drop that number on you.
Yeah.
Barons.
Yeah, Barons. I think it's going to be a continuation of the overall trend with Central CV. I think Central wins this one pretty easily. Garden Spot going up against Ephrata in another good Section 2 matchup here. Spartans, still one of those dangerous teams in Section 2.
Surely, yeah, and they're coming off a tough one at E-Town last week. Blocked a field goal just before half, took the lead in the third quarter over at E-Town, then lost. E-Town came back and won. Still like their offense. Weston Martin, 15 touchdown passes, tied for the league lead. Ephrata is struggling here. I said it last week, I'll say it again. They're making some baby steps. Their numbers get a little better every week. But I think the Spartans are a little too much here. I like their passing game. I like Martin and Kelly and Eby. I'll go Garden Spot here.
Yeah, I think Garden Spot now maybe falls out of the race for the section title a little bit, but they're still in the mix for a district playoff run. I think they keep going here. I say Garden Spot wins this one. And finally, in Section 2, we have Lebanon going up against Solanco. This one's a pretty intriguing matchup.
Contrasting styles. It seems like I say that all the time. Stat of the week.
Okay.
The top 4 offenses in the LL League are all from Section 2.
Interesting.
Lebanon's number 1, Calico's number 2, Central's number 3, E-Town is number 4. Lebanon's offense has been great.
I think we've mentioned that a few times.
They're number 1 in the league, over 460 yards a game. Still the only team in the league with 1,000 passing and 1,000 rushing, so they have great balance. It's not just Capello chucking bombs to Clenamac. It's much, much more than that. Solanco's D, very good. 180 yards a game, 3rd or 4th best in the league. Call me crazy. I like Solanco here. I mean, they're at home. They only get 3 home games, so here's a home game that they get to have, home cooking. I know Lebanon's offense is scary, but I really like Solanco's defense, and I think they're just going to find a way somehow to curtail Lebanon enough to pull it out. Okay. I just see it. I'll go with Golden Mules in an upset of sorts.
I'll hedge our bets here. Then I'm going to take Lebanon in it. I just like that. I like what that offense can do. Mm-hmm. I think they've had a couple, reality checks here along the way where they lost their undefeated record and everything, but I still like them. I think they're going to be a good team. I think they'll beat Solanco here. Okay, moving on to Section 3, and here is one that the top game in Section 3 this week probably could have been a spotlight game, but there's only 2 of us. Sorry, folks, but a good one. First place Lancaster Catholic. They're 3-0 in section play. They're going up against. They're hosting Northern Lebanon. Northern Lebanon 2-1 after getting upended by Anvil-Cleona. So this is one of those games that Northern Lebanon wins. They get themselves right back into it here. So your thoughts on this one?
Revenge game, or what happened in Week 10 last year. Catholic went to Fredericksburg. They win. They're outright section champs, 7-0. Northern Lebanon sprung the upset, 17-13. They beat the Crusaders. So this game has been circled in Catholic's locker room. Coach Harbach told me this week, he said, we've circled this game so much that we broke the pencil point, circling it so many times. So there's your quote of the week.
Nice. He's always good for that.
Yeah, he's fabulous. I love what Northern Lebanon's doing. Their rushing attack is great. They're second in the league in rushing. Matt Nolan has been fabulous. He's the league's leading passing efficiency leader. But Catholics had this one circled. Sure. My goodness. I don't think you want to get the Crusaders mad. They've had this game circled for a year. They have all their weapons. Jankowski's back. He's been scary. Purvis is having a monster year at wideout. And Kyle Smith has been outstanding. Catholic will get some revenge. Take the Crusaders at home, and they just keep on marching.
I was in Catholic's locker room in training camp, and the game literally is circled on their schedule. So there you go. I'm going Catholic as well. I think Northern Lebanon's a good team, but I don't think they've run into anybody of Catholic's caliber yet. So,
this is their first trip out of Lebanon County. They had the 3 home games, and then Elko and Anvil on the road. So this is the first time they've had to get in a bus and travel. And the atmosphere there will be very pro-Crusaders.
Absolutely. Yeah, Catholic as well. Rest of the Section 3 games, we'll start with Columbia. They're going to be visiting Anvil-Cleona. Your thoughts on this?
Anvil's been a fun team. Here they are. They're 3-0. They're tied for first. They're legit. They're in it. Great playmakers. Dean May, Nate Myers, and now keeping on Ricky Snyder. They found a new feature back in him, 100 yards last week. Columbia last in the league in total defense. They've given up tons of yards, 425 a game, last in the league in rushing yards against, over 2,000. Dakota Lightfoot, good bright spot. He leads the league in rushing, 987 yards, so he should crack 1,000 this week. Anvil, they go to 4-0. Keep knocking on the door. There they are. Take the Dutchman.
Yep, I like those little Dutchmen. They win this week as well. Donegal at Lampeter Strasburg is another one on the section docket, and these are 2 teams that have kind of struggled at points here this season. Which one of them turns it around?
I'll go LS. I've been saying it here for 7 weeks in a row. LS is better than 1-5. Sure. Trust me, please. I do like Donegal. I like the rushing attack. Kyle Whitmer's been great. I think this is the week that LS puts it together and finally gets a win. Any other year, this is like a monster Section 3 game. This year, maybe not so much. Pioneers.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Ellis is better than the record. We've been saying that for a while. Last week I didn't buy into it. I picked Elko to beat them, and Elko did.
Yeah, they did.
Cheap plug, I went 12-0 in my picks last week too, so I'll ride that one. This week I'm going Lampeter Strasburg as well. I think they finally start turning things around here and maybe, make a move toward mediocrity at least and knock off Donegal.
500's there. It's attainable.
And finally, our last game on the Yellow League docket this week is Pequea Valley, winless Pequea Valley, going to out to Myerstown to take on Elko. And Jeff, is there anything, anything positive we can say about Pequea to will they be picking up a first win here? Is this the week that it could happen?
I don't think so. Elko's been playing really good.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, they've kind of been that mysterious Section 3 team. They've won 2 in a row, scored a ton of points, 58 against Columbia, 35 last week, beating LS. Their rushing attack's been really good. Aki, Weatherholtz, Arnold, those guys are really good. Pequea's got a female kicker.
There you go.
Hope you saw the video this week. Brooke Laycock, let's try to find some positive things with Pequea. They're struggling, obviously.
Yeah.
Raiders.
Yeah, those struggles continue this week. I'm going Raiders as well. So there you have it, everyone. That's our 12-game docket this week. Reminder, if you can't get out to the games on Friday night, be sure to check back here at lanksports.com for live blog commentary from our Spotlight games. Again, I'll be at the Penn Manor Manheim Township game. Jeff will be going to the Cocalico E-Town game. When you visit us at those live blogs, you'll be getting scores from the other LL League games in progress. We'll be posting them on our blogs and also on the ticker that runs across the top of the page on lanksports.com. And finally, on Saturday morning, first thing Saturday morning, for all your game details, we have a new feature on lanksports.com, our scoreboard feature. One click will take you to all 12 games. You'll have the final scores, the game stories that appear in the print editions, and the box score all in one centralized location. So we're trying to make it easy for you to find all the information you need first thing on Saturday morning. So again, for all your sports needs, visit us here at lanksports.com. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.